I've got one question for you. Are you ready to get your game on?
The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry, man. Trying to get this microphone adjusted. Got this big boom sitting here right in my face. And I don't know, man. I failed on the kickoff to this show today. But welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. We got one hell of a fun one today. Man, it's an odd week. We got Parker 425 coming up, King of the Hammers coming off Rolex there at Daytona. We got Supercross to talk about. X Games happened this weekend. Man, I don't know. We're going to try and cram a lot into this show, and I don't know. We're going to do our best to do it. So, yeah, looking at guests today, obviously we've got Kyle Chisholm with Supercross. Great story there. Stoked to have him on the line, so we're going to be talking a little bit of Supercross here in hour number one with Kyle. Also got Tiffany Stone calling in hour number two in her spot. She is en route, I guess, as of now to King of the Hammers, but we're going to be talking about even more storylines coming out of KOH. Don't forget my website, downanddirtyshow.com. We'll be doing full coverage of both King of the Hammers, all the events at King of the Hammers, as well as the Parker 425 this weekend right there on the website. So if you're stuck at home, you're watching the live streams, you're watching the tracking, I get it. But, in between doing all that, you can be over at downanddirtyshow.com and be checking out all the latest and greatest news that's coming out of all of the events. My guy Chris will have it on lockdown and keep you guys rolling with the content. And then got one he called in about 6 months ago. My good friend Evan Schendel with Polaris RZR Marketing. He's in charge of all the marketing surrounding the RZR brand and the race team and everything else. He's calling in, actually takes up a couple of segments here in hour number two, but he's going to give us the lowdown on everything Polaris RZR that's happening in the first half of 2019. So you hear me talk about it a lot, but great to have somebody from the big house talking about it on the show as well. I don't know, somebody with a little more credibility than me. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into the show. We are going to take a short break, and we're going to roll right into things. I'm going to be talking X Games and Rolex 24 at Daytona to kick things off here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right, welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, kicking off, hour number 1 officially. I don't know, we do it in that short intro we've got for National. But yeah, now we can kind of get into the meat of things. And it was January is here. It's kind of crazy, man. To me, it just seems like Christmas, we had that downtime over the holidays. Like, man, we're almost in February. Where in the hell did the month of January go? I don't know, but I guess it is out, right? We are officially almost into February by the end of the Park 425, which I'm racing in this weekend. We definitely will be. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me that, like, I had all these plans and I'm like, oh, wow, like there went a month. Like, what happened to these plans? So, but which means we went from having no motorsports to a ton of motorsports. Obviously, Supercross in full swing. And, we've got some desert races, King of the Hammer, stuff like that. But for, like, mainstream, which is a good chunk of our listeners now. I talk about my off-road stuff and UTVs and that, but like for the mainstream motorsports fan, Supercross is probably a big kickoff, but I would say the Rolex 24 at Daytona is kind of, that's the big event, right? That's the one, it's like, boom, that hits. All right, it is race season. Then you roll into that. You got Speed Weeks at Daytona. You got NHRA that kicks off with a couple of rounds here in the Southwest. So it's just one of those things where, this past weekend is like the real kickoff to motorsport season, I feel like, for 2019 with Rolex 24 at Daytona. Globally, I mean, we had, got the WRC is in Monte Carlo. So, I mean, there's some other stuff that's going on, but like to me, this Rolex 24 has always kind of been boom. All right, that happens. And then, yeah, it is race time. That happened this weekend, and I got to tell you, this is one of those that I'm a fan of, right? How can you not like endurance racing? I've started paying attention to it more now than I guess I ever have in the past, mainly because I have a national radio show, right? But I've got a lot of respect. But to me, like sports car racing, and endurance racing, it's always been like the place guys go when they're getting ready to retire. And it's not that way anymore. I mean, you got guys like Montoya and Hilo Castroneves who they could be in Indy cars right now still doing really well. But you've got them, racing, racing endurance racing. I mean, and Rolex 24 has always been the cool one because that's when you get guys from all walks of motorsports come over. You got Formula One drivers, IndyCar drivers, NASCAR drivers. Robbie Gordon's done it. Biffle's done it. Jeff Gordon's done it. You got the NASCAR guys that come over, and this year, like we've got, obviously, you've got the big ones, like I said, Montoya and Hilo Castroneves running, but you've also got guys like Alexander Rossi, who he came, which is interesting because he's actually in a Penske ride. you've got Fernando Alonso who came and did it. And so you've got all these people like converging there in Daytona for I guess what is the second biggest endurance race in the world next to only Le Mans. So, it's, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's pretty rad. This one was so I've kind of tried to pay more attention to it. I'm not one of those that's going to like watch every single hour as it clicks by. Like I tune in at the start, kind of the midway point. I keep tabs on it, but I'm not going to dedicate 24 hours to watching the race, right? Definitely want to watch the last couple hours. And there's always a battle to the finish. And, this year, disappointing, right? Yeah. Rain came. And I've got mixed emotions about this because it's endurance racing. Formula One, they race in the rain occasionally, and Indy cars have raced in the rain on road courses. They don't do it on ovals for many, many reasons. This race is, it's an interesting one, partly because it's at Daytona. They do run, I guess, portions of oval, but it's, anyways, they shortened it by 2 hours. And I guess I've got a little bit of a problem with it because, it was actually only a 22-hour race. There was actually a couple of teams. Obviously, Fernando Alonso ended up winning in his team with Jordan Taylor, Renger van der Zande, and Kobayashi. And Taylor and van der Zande, they've been guests on the show before. Love those guys. Nasser and then the team of Castroneves and Rossi and Taylor, those three teams were all battling it out. They were on the lead lap, right? So it's like, man, to shorten it, that just kind of sucks because I think we were going to have a three-way shootout there. And I got to give credit to my boy Colin Braun and the guys at Core Autosport because they were only 4 laps back. Did they have a chance for a win with those other three teams there? No. But it turned into kind of a mess there at the end, like teams going off in the rain and stuff like that. Like to me with endurance racing, in off-road, so in off-road, if it rains, which actually we're supposed to get rain Saturday, we've got rain at the Park 250. I had it at Vegas Arena. I race in the rain all the time, right? If it gets muddy, if it gets slick, you let up, right? You drive the track. You drive what is in front of you. So, when it gets muddy and it gets nasty and rain's hitting your visor and you can't see and visibility is absolutely zero, happened at Vegas Arena, happened at the Park 250 this year with me, right? What do? I don't drive as fast. You only drive what you can see. In road racing at Daytona, and this I would love your guys' comments at Jim Beaver 15 on Twitter. Hit me up. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree, disagree with me, love to hear what you guys think. But with this, it's endurance racing, right? If you know the track conditions suck, drive a little bit slower. Oh, well, I'm going to get past. Well, you see, you know what? The guy, if he's that much faster, then you're just too slow. But like we saw at Daytona, if you drive too fast, you're going to slide off. So I don't believe in these red flags for endurance racing because I feel like the car should go slower. It's like these guys think they ought to be able to drive the cars at 200 miles all the time, 200 miles an hour all the time. No. If the conditions suck, you slow down to 150 miles an hour. Where you slow down to that point where you have grip. But these guys feel like if we can't drive them at 100%, we're not interested. No, that's not the way it works. It's endurance racing. It's a 24-hour race, and you know what? You need to drive the car for 24 hours. I don't believe in red flags. If a tornado's coming, that's one thing. But for rain, even heavy rain like we had at Daytona, absolutely not. You let these guys spin out and run into the wall, it's their own fault. Should have slowed down. Seriously, there's plenty of guys who didn't spin off. They must have slowed down and checked up. I'm just saying, man, this is endurance racing. You got to make the car live to the finish. And, I guess that's kind of my problem with the way Daytona ended. I know, and love Fernando Alonso. He was leading, and he was one of the first guys out there going, hey, let's call the race, under red flag. He was the guy, championing it. Hey, let's call the race. These conditions are horrible. Well, obviously, Alonso, you're in first place. You don't want to drive the last 2 hours. You got Hilo Castroneves and Alexander Rossi right on your rear bumper. And I love Alonso. Dude, massive Alonso fan here. But just calling a spade. I'm going to call Alonso out on this one. Yeah, he's championing for this race to be canceled or to red flag and stop. Well, he wanted that win, right? It's one of those things too. I trust me, I'm a Phoenix Suns fan, right? On the basketball side of things, we suck. And we won the first game of the year. I was like, all right, let's call the season. Let's go to the playoffs. It's the first time in like a decade we've actually been in first place in the standings. So I get it, Fernando Alonso. You wanted it to stop because you wanted the W. But I don't know. I disagree with it being red flagged. I know the conditions were horrible. I think that, if I'm IMSA, I tell the drivers, hey, dudes, and girls, there's lady road racers. Hey, look, this is what we're dealt with. You're a professional race car driver. This is endurance racing. You know what? Do what you got to do to stay on the track. If you got to drive 50 miles an hour slower, you drive 50 miles an hour slower. Period. End of story. We're driving all 24 hours. So, I don't know. I'm sure that is not going to sit well with a lot of people, but that's my feelings on it. And I don't know. That's all I got to say about that. Anyways, Fernando Alonso did take the W there at Daytona, along with Van der Zande, Jordan Taylor, and Kobayashi. Second in, we're talking DPIs here, prototypes, Nasser, and then the team of Taylor, Castroneves, and Rossi getting there, finishing up on the podium there in third. So, that was, I guess that's a big class. There's a lot of results there at Daytona, but let's face it, that's the class everybody wants to talk about. Do want to give a shout-out, though, to my boy Colin Braun and the guys at Core Autosport, finished up in fourth position. Solid effort there by those guys, and this is a new Nissan program that they've got. They bought the Nissan cars from last season. The factory Nissan cars are running them. I think they're going to get better as the season goes along. So, that's enough on Daytona. That's what happened. I don't know. We could beat this one up for a while, but we come back from the break. We are going to be talking Supercross and X Games here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You don't want to go anywhere. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
All right, welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I don't know, just talking some 24 hours of Daytona. I call it 24 hours of Daytona. I guess it's the Rolex 24 at Daytona is the way you're supposed to talk it, or I guess the way we're supposed to speak it. I don't know. There I go, getting my unradio voice. I don't know. What would you even call that? I don't know. Let's just move on here, because obviously I'm stumbling around here. Don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyways, X Games. And, as much as, we just opened up that segment, talked about the drama surrounding Rolex 24 at Daytona, I've got a private Facebook account, my friend's account, right? And I've got some high-profile friends on that account. Not going to name names. I'm not going to tell you my handle or whatever. It's just it's where we can have some really honest, balls-out conversations. It's quite interesting. And but one of them is around X Games. I've been an X Games fan since day number one. Massive X Games support. I mean, I remember back when X Games started. It was called Extreme Games. It wasn't even called X Games at the time. And they had these bizarre sports like barefoot water ski jumping. They had like the Eco Challenge, where it was literally an outdoor adventure race. Street Luge, which I think they ought to bring back, by the way. That's one of the events. Yes, absolutely. Street Luge needs to come back. So Street Luge. What did they used to have, what was it? what was it, skyboarding? I don't even know what it was called, but it's basically skydiving with like with a board on your feet. Like I can't even. And they had a cameraman. I don't know. So that was another one. I can't even remember the hell the name of that sport was, but skydiving with a snowboard on your feet. They had bungee jumping. I think bungee jumping, like freestyle bungee jumping, was one of them. They tried some crazy stuff at X Games. Not saying I want all that stuff to be brought back, but I've been a fan since day one. I mean, this is one of those things when I was a kid in the 90s. Action sports weren't on TV. X Games was the first real, like, boom, we're going to go out there, we're going to go to bat for action sports, right? And it was a big, big deal. Now, all of a sudden, I get used to get magazines once a month, a video here and there. Now, all of a sudden, this is, like, pushed on us on TV, and it was like a 2-week-long deal. I mean, this is like Olympics type of thing, it was a massive deal. And, it was like, wow, this was the deal. So this is the first time I ever got to see this stuff on TV. I used to have, videotapes, VCR at the time. DVDs weren't even thought of, and I used to record all the episodes of X Games. And then, B3, the bike series that came out after that. And I'm just going back saying, hey, man, like I was a massive fan, right? They had the pulse of the action sports. And I feel like now X Games is morphed and it's got smaller. I think the settings, it's not these big elaborate layouts. It's got a little bit more intimate. The park courses that aren't quite as big and extravagant. It's morphed into, more bowl type riding, things like that. Like, it's different, and I think action sports is more. So X Games has morphed along with that, but I think that X Games has kind of lost the pulse, and not necessarily winter X Games because you've got skiing and snowboarding in winter, and I guess freestyle snowmobiling. There's not a lot with winter that you can do. Summer more so, and I love X Games, and everything I say is because I'm so passionate about it. But I feel like some of these events they bring in, some of the stuff is just like it's a cash grab. And action sports, this radio show. The reason why I've done well is because I've tried to be authentic. I give you my personal point of view, whether you like it or not. I think everything I do, the companies I represent, the brands you hear about on this show, I believe in. And I think with X Games, they've kind of lost sight of that, and they've lost sight of their core audience. And now a lot of people still go to X Games. People still tune in, and I think action sports as a whole has regressed. So I don't know that we're ever going to see things as big as they were in the 90s. It's just a different era, right? But I feel like some of the new names that have come in that are killing it, I don't feel like they've been pushed to the forefront. And I know way too many people. And I talked to quite a few, actually. There's guys that are competing for medals that have no sponsors. And it's because the sponsors aren't getting their return when these athletes appear at X Games. I mean, they're going with blank jerseys and things like that. I mean, and we're not talking backmarker guys that are trying to get, a top 10. We're talking guys that have a shot at a medal and girls, and they don't have sponsors. To me, that's a problem, and when they can't get $10,000 to help them cover travel and expenses to get to X Games, the business model is wrong. But then you look at X Games and, things like this Jeep Wrangler X Challenge. Love Casey Curry, love Brian Deegan, love Bucky Lasek. Got nothing against Jacko, I just don't know the guy. The Jeep Wrangler X Challenge should have never happened. Like, crazy. Like, why did that happen? If you're going to do extreme winter Jeeping, make it like Ultra 4 style. This like a couple logs and a 40-second, like, to me, it was just like, what? And then you've got, like, on Sunday, you got the Harley-Davidson snow hill climb. When you hear that, you're like, oh, guys on Harley-Davidson's going to be racing them up a mountain. But then you look, and it's like, what is this? Like, they're on dirt bikes, and they're just going straight line up. Like, it was like a way to get Harley more value into winter because they're doing stuff in the summer. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, a lot of it doesn't make sense. I wish some of that would go away because I think that your core action sports fan base, they see that and they go, man, like, how it is. Like, there's guys that make a living just because they're core. They never compete in contests. They're just riders that film and things like that, and that type of stuff, I think, pushes those people away. Now, X Games is making money, but none of your athletes are. And, the people who actually move the needle, they're not they're not tuning in. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat there. But it's just like, to me, I don't know. There's a big disconnect right now in action sports and in X Games with the athletes and things like that. And I mean, we even go so far as some of the best athletes aren't actually in X Games. You've got some guys that are a decade out of their prime that are still getting invites because they're a big name. Meanwhile, there's these kids that are shredding that are like 18, 19 years old who can't get an invite because they don't have that big of a name. It's like, no, you want the best of the best. You don't want the biggest name. You want the best of the best. That's kind of the way I view it. And I think there's a disconnect there. But talking about X Games, it did happen. There was some solid riding. We're not going to talk the action sports events, mainly because we'll do that on Project Action. But we will talk things with a motor. Jeep Wrangler X Challenge, that rock crawling event kind of thing that I told you about. Casey Curry did take the victory there. Snowmobile Freestyle. Daniel Bodine, Brett Turcotte, and Justin Hoyer. I need to reach out to Turcotte, see if we can get him back on the show once in a while. He's a fun guy to have on. You had Adaptive Snowbike Cross. It was Monster Mike Schultz, Tyler Brandenberger, and Kevin Royston. 1, 2, and 3. And then you had a Paris Snowbike Cross. It was Doug Henry, Will Posey, and Leighton Lilly in third. Got to give a shout out to my boy Paul Thacker. He finished up there in the 5th spot. And then kind of moving down a bit, I love that name, Wendy's Snowboard Knuckle Huck. That's crazy. You've got Wendy's sponsoring these events. Cody Matichuk, Jesse Kirchmeier, Brock Hoyer, they were 1, 2, and 3 in Snowbike Cross. My boy Darren Mees finished up in 4th. Man, would love to see him on the box. And then you had that Harley Davidson Snowbike Hill Climb was Logan Mead and Travis Whitlock, 1 and 2. And then your best trick for Snowbike, it was Rob Adelberg, Brett Turcotte, and Ethan Roberts rounding out, I guess, the field there. And I do have to say, man, Snowbike best trick, this one's got me. And I've been very vocal about this. X Games, the racing stuff came in back with rally car racing, and that was when Travis Pastrana and Dave Mira and were making the transition. This is before Ken Block was even Ken Block. Brought it in because here's these big name athletes trying to transition out of a cage or out of off dirt bikes into a cage. So they brought in rally car racing, and with that, with rally car racing, it kind of morphed X Games, and then Stadium Super Trucks came in and all these other events and Enduro Cross. I'm one of those firm believers in we shouldn't have racing with engines in X Games. Like, it's not an action sport. Is it a cool draw? Yeah, but we got motorsports all over. And, I've got a lot of good friends who race, and make a living at this deal, but I just don't know that it's a fit for X Games. I'd rather ESPN go, you know what, we're going to make, this a big deal and, and give you your own TV show or something like that. Like, I don't know. That's just kind of my feelings on it. So, but I'd like to go back to just the core action sports of X Games. That's kind of where I would love to see things in the future. But I don't know. It's just, I think X Games is in a weird spot, and it's not just me. I think you read around the internet and things like that. Like, it is, and it used to be like literally it stopped you dead in your tracks when X Games was going to happen. And now it's just kind of an afterthought. Like, people don't stop dead in their tracks to watch X Games. People, it's kind of that passive, like, oh, I'm flipping the channels, X Games on, I'll watch that. It used to be the must-see TV, and it's not anymore. I want to go back to the days of Tony Hawk and the 900 on primetime TV, and every television set in the country is tuned in. Same thing with FMX. I mean, when Pastrana and Deegan, it was like, what are they going to bring this year? It was must-see TV. Dirt jumping was that way at one point. You had the biggest names. Dave Mirra, it's like, is he going to bring the double back? We hear rumors Dave Mirra is going to bring the double back. We're tuning in. It was prime time. It was crazy. And, now I just feel like we've kind of lost that a bit. We can get back to it, it's just, I think we've lost it a bit. So I don't know. Still a massive X Games fan. Can't wait to see what's in store for us at Summer X. I think Minneapolis has been an amazing venue. Really excited about that. But we've got to take a short break. We come back. It is Kyle Chisholm on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm
I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with a Down and Dirty radio show since 2012. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome one of my guests this week, Kyle Chisholm, to the show. How's everything going, my man?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Solid. No complaints. First off, I got to ask you, man, you kind of took a bit of a dinger. How was everything on your end? You good? You solid?
Yeah, I had a pretty good crash last week in the first turn. Just racing incident. It's part, comes with the territory, part of racing and part of Supercross. So had a big crash. I'm definitely lucky. It wasn't worse. I'm pretty beat up. My neck, back, ribs, pretty much everywhere. Just bruised up and scraped up and sore. But for the most part, like I said, I'm good. Nothing broken. My wrist had a pretty good sprain to my wrist, but nothing's broken, and doing as good as I can be. Like I said, it could always be worse, and happy that I'm somewhat healthy going into the weekend.
Yeah, well, it's one thing that's crazy about Supercross. I mean, I say turn one in Supercross has got to be one of the most exciting turns in all of racing across the board. I don't care what discipline. Like, it's just gnarly. Anything can happen, man. When you have 20-plus riders funneling into that corner, man, I guess, they say, you want the whole shot, and, I guess that's case in point. It's got to be gnarly. You got to, there's a pucker factor even for you after all these years going into turn one. There's got to be, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, on the gate in Supercross, there's 22 guys on the gate, so you and 21 other guys, and you're all, unlike most other, I think probably any other motorsports for the most part, they're all of you are lined up equally. Some position maybe a little better, but the gate drops at the same time for everybody, and everybody's going for that one spot in the first turn all together. So you're banging bars and rubbing against each other, and man, just everyone's trying to go for the whole shot. So it's tough, but it's the only time of the race that you can pass all the other riders, 21 in Supercross, all at the same time. So it's important to get out front first. But man, everybody wants the whole shot. So we're all going for it, and sometimes not so great things happen, but like I said, it's part of it.
Yeah, the starts have always kind of cracked me up because I'm like, the math just doesn't work out. You got 22 guys, and you're like funneling into 2, maybe 3 lanes. I'm like, the math just doesn't work, but somehow 95% of the time it actually does work out. I'm like, it's one of those weird anomalies where it's set up for failure, but it most times it actually works out.
Yeah, it does. I mean, to be honest, at least for us, especially at the professional level, most of the time, we've all done it a long time. Like you said, though, we're 22 guys wide going into a turn that maybe fits 3 or 4 guys wide. So there's just kind of that level of like respect, I guess, and knowledge of if you don't have the start, you got to pick your spot and kind of trust the other riders, have trust in them and what they're going to do, and just try to get through there because nobody wants to crash, nobody wants to go down, get run over, any of that stuff. So, we're all going for it, but we try to be smart as well. But just like last week with me, sometimes things go wrong and there are crashes. So you try to avoid them. But like I said, it's inevitable at some point. So just part of racing.
Yeah. Well, we want to talk about stuff going right here. And I got to say, 2019, I mean, this got to be a pretty exciting year for you. I mean, I know coming off a bit of an injury, and some surgery, but new bike, new team, new 2019. I mean, you got to be pretty excited about the prospects for this year.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, last year, 2018, during the summer outdoor series, I had a little crash, nothing bad. I tore my ACL and my meniscus on my knee. So had to go through that whole reconstruction process, and I was off the bike for about 5 months. So I didn't start riding until maybe around Thanksgiving time. So I've only had about, but before the season, I only had a little over a month of riding back, with my new team and a new bike with the HEP Motorsports Suzuki team. So new bike, new team, only about a month of time to be ready on top of coming off that injury. So we're definitely, behind the 8 ball for ideal, preparation time coming into the season. But the team's done a great job. I worked my butt off through rehab and as much as I could cram into that short time to be ready for the season. And we're a little behind the 8 ball for the most part. But like I said, it's time. Nobody could make more time, and we've done the best that we could do to be as prepared as we can be. And we've got out, aside from that crash last weekend, we've got out to a pretty decent start, knowing, what we're the cards we were dealt coming into the season. So we made the best of it, done our best, had some pretty good results besides that crash, and we're just trying to build each week. And hopefully, by mid-season, we're kind of up there where I want to be, where the team knows that they can be, and we'll just take it race by race and build and get a little better each weekend.
Well, and I think that's one of the things with the team, bringing you in, right? I mean, you've been in almost this identical position before, right? I mean, even going into, I believe it was 2018, right? It was a little bit same situation. I mean, you know how to handle this going into the year, and I think that's probably got to be a benefit for the team because you're a veteran, you've been around, and you know how to develop bikes and new programs and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not ideal, obviously, like I said, but it's part of the sport. Injuries are part of the sport. Life isn't fair, I guess, is a good way to put it too. So, I kind of went through, a short preparation time, last year as well with a new team and a new bike. So nothing I haven't dealt with before. And, unfortunately, but fortunately, having dealt with it, I kind of knew what to expect. So just make the most of it, man. I feel like that's kind of how I try to live life as well. Life advice for those guys out, anybody listening. You can only control so much, and the cards that you're dealt, you got to make the most of it. Try hard, work your butt off, and make the most of what you have, and everything will just get better and better. So for me, racing, that's how I've always kind of tried to look at it and just make the best of your situation. And all you can do is better yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, in talking about that, I mean, you know what, how are you guys approaching 2019? Because I figure it's like every single weekend you guys are probably building for the next weekend, right? I mean, it's one of those where you guys are going to get better throughout the season, and to have your finishes, that you had early on. I mean, where do you guys see yourself as this season progresses? I mean, obviously you've cracked the top 20 the first couple of rounds. I mean, it's one of those where, I mean, you guys are building, right? I mean, how are you guys approaching this year?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's once you get to the races and in race situation, you learn a lot about the bike and yourself, what you can work on. The weeks go by quick, so you only have a few days during the week to really practice and try some things and improve stuff. So the improvements are kind of small during the week for the most part, but you're always just trying to improve, and everybody is. You get more comfortable being uncomfortable, I guess, is a good way to put it. You get to the race, and it's a new track and new dirt, and you get a short time to learn it and figure things out. So you get comfortable being uncomfortable. And for me, like I said, it's a new bike and a new team. So we're learning how to work together, and I'm learning with the new bike and what I want it to do and what I can work on to make it suit me better. Everybody rides a little different. So it just takes time, which, like I said, wasn't on our side coming into the season. So we'll take it little by little, race by race, and hopefully get up in the top 10 and battle up front with those guys.
Yeah, well, and it was funny because Sean had texted me and said, "Hey, this is we want you to have Kyle on the show next week." I'm like, "Absolutely," and I started looking back, and I was at some of the interviews you've done and some YouTube videos with you talking and things like that, and I'm like, "Man, Kyle, you've been around the sport for a long time. I mean, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen in Supercross, in the last year or two, and especially this year? I mean, because I feel like the whole sport as a whole, I mean, it's really kind of morphed in the way riders attack, the series and just everything as a whole. It seems like it's different than, say, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah, man, I think it's always evolving and always changing, and guys are always getting better, and younger kids move up, and there's new techniques, and the bikes are getting better, and just all of that kind of snowballs into just the level of riding and everything just continues to grow. So, which I definitely wouldn't argue, but try to kind of get the best of both worlds for me, use my experience to my advantage. But also you're trying to always learn and always get better. And I think you have to, you get left behind. And I've had a pretty long career up to this point. I hope to keep it going longer and longer. But to do that, like I said, you gotta keep evolving and keep getting better and better every year.
So, talking about that, we got Oakland, obviously, this weekend. How are you guys going to attack this race? Obviously, you've seen the track. You kind of have an idea what you got to work with here. Obviously coming off of, Anaheim there where you really didn't get to, get a chance to really get a feel for things. I mean, how are you guys attacking Oakland this weekend?
Man, Oakland's always, I always enjoy coming here. It's, for me, I think some of the best dirt that we get to race on. We have good weather, so I don't think they've had much rain during the week leading up to the race. But typically this track is usually a softer, more ruddy track compared to most of the West Coast races. So I think that makes a lot of good racing lines and kind of changes up kind of your strategy for racing. So the track deteriorates a lot more than, say, some of the more hard-packed West Coast races. So, again, having that experience and knowing that going in, I think I like to use that to my advantage. Knowing for that main event the track's really going to break down, and you might have to change up some lines and rhythm sections and just kind of the way you're going to go through the race and kind of your racecraft and where you're going to make passes, and you kind of have that you're thinking ahead of what the track, how the track may change, and trying to use that to your benefit come later in the main event.
Well, and I guess we'll ask one last question. Same question I asked Justin Barsha last week, and it's kind of becoming the thing when I get a guy like you or Barsha on who've been around the sport for a while. But what is one thing that Kyle Chisholm has changed for 2019 in your racecraft and the way you're approaching the season?
Man, for 2019, that's a good question. I feel like I said, I'm always learning. I'm always trying to get better. For me, the older I've gotten, I've tried to really work on the mental side of things and trusting myself and trusting my fitness and my training, my preparation. And that's something I really have had to rely on with my short preparation time because of my knee injury this past season. So trying to just mentally, not worry about other things, not question myself and my ability, and really just focus on myself and trust in what I've done and what I know I can do. and just go out there and execute it. So I think for me, that's something I've really tried to work on. This sport is so mental, and I think you hear people say that even in other sports, because at any major sport, at the top level, all of the athletes are the best of the best that come to that point. You know, the best amateurs from year after year, and there's only so much room at the top for guys. So we're all really close in ability, in preparation and knowledge. So for me, it's just been the mental side of trusting and not questioning. No. So that's something I've really tried to ingrain in myself and in my thinking of, talking to yourself, things as dumb as that sounds. But yeah, I think it's really important at this level because we're all great athletes and we're all great at what we do. So that little bit, I think, is the big thing that can separate, the great riders from the good riders.
Well, you mentioned something I never really thought about looking at it that way, but like you said, there's only a X amount of spots. Like you said, there's only 22 bikes that are going to make the main event, and every year you've got these really good guys coming up from 250s and things like that, and and like you said, the guys that are there racing a 450. I mean, you're the elite of the elite, and it's tough company. It's hard to get in there, and I never really looked at it that way. But like you said, there's only so many spots on the gate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's the best of the best kids and riders growing up from all over the world. They all turn pro, and then they go through the 250 class. So, for the 450 class, you already have the best guys in the world, and then after that, it's even slimmed down more to the best 250 guys in the world that get bumped up and ride that 450 class and get a ride in the 450 class and race for a top team. So if you look at the results in the 450 class right now, man, I think I heard somebody talking about the other day, I think there's like 20 guys racing that are either past champions or race winners in either the 250 or 450 class. So it's like just to make it to the main gate, you're racing with past winners and champions of racing, period. So it's tough. It doesn't get any easier. Like I said, every year there's more and more guys, and it's just a lot of hard work and constantly evolving to stay at that level and maintain it. And then not even maintain it, it's always getting even better. So, man, I think it's an awesome time in the sport to be a fan. There's so many great riders. As you've seen this year, look at the different winners. There are guys that you wouldn't even have maybe expected to win a race this year. And the guys you would think would be the guy's favorite to win the championship, those guys haven't even won a race yet. So there's a lot of parity, a lot of excitement, and a lot of great riders. And I think that's just going to continue, through the season. So as a fan, I'm looking forward to it. And as a racer, I'm happy and grateful and blessed to be a part of it. And I just enjoy being out there every Saturday and seeing the fans and enjoying what I do.
Well, I appreciate the time, Kyle. I know you've got a lot of media obligations today. Obviously, big race coming up this weekend. Good luck, buddy. Looking forward to seeing you on the gate there at Oakland, and chat soon.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
And we'll be back with more after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the two-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for. No fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island. The best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Just kind of wrapping up hour number one here. And, before we roll into hour number two, we're going to have a Dirtfish Rally Report. We got Evan Schendel with Polaris RZR Marketing, Tiffany Stone. We'll be talking a whole lot of King of the Hammers. Do want to remind you guys that KOH, if you're heading out there and you want the best experience possible at King of the Hammers, well, go to ultra4license.com. You can get some VIP tickets. It started out where you had to buy them for the entire week. Now they've got it broken down where you can get just single-day VIP tickets. You're going to have Wi-Fi out there, which, man, that thing is like the golden commodity to have Wi-Fi out there at KOH because it's pretty tough to get out there. So, no cell service, no nothing. So you're going to get Wi-Fi, private bar, catered food, great viewing area, massive tent. Like it is it's the way to take in KOH, so let's put it that way. So they have everywhere from single day all the way up to full week-long packages there, ultra4license.com. Get your KOH VIP tickets ASAP. And, before we go to this quick break, do want to make mention, my other show, Project Action. We got Nate Wessel on this week. Always fun catching up with Nate. Subscribe on iTunes to that one as well as the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Check us out on the web, downanddirtyshow.com. And please leave ratings and reviews there on iTunes if you subscribe. And if you leave a rating or review, leave a Twitter, Instagram username in the body of the review, and I'll follow you back, man. Those reviews definitely help us move right on up the charts. So, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, it is going to be, it's going to be time to chat some stage rally here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Kicking off hour number 2 for those of you in national syndication. Still hour number 1 for those of you tuning in online or in podcast form. But right now we're rolling right into our Dirtfish Rally Report, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And, talking about Dirtfish, here is our rally report for this weekend. So ARA Snowdrift Rally coming over under the ARA banner for 2019. I've been to Snowdrift 2 different times, and I got to tell you, this is one of the interesting motorsports events in North America. That's for certain. Definitely a little bit of a weird one. just because it's so damn cold up there in, I want to say northern Michigan. I guess it's southern Michigan. This one, last time I was up there, it was -20 and blizzard came in and it was bad. Like this is just a gnarly event. But tell you what, the fans come out in force, man. Bonfire Alley, you've got the gravel pit where they've got the super special, like thousands of fans out there in the sub-zero temps to watch this event, man. Diehards up there, diehard rally fans up there in Michigan, that's for sure. But anyways, so Peter Fattel, my boy Peter, taking the victory there. He's won this event in the past before. Cameron Steele, second outright, first in class in the lights class, and then Nice and James, third spot on the podium, second in lights. Pellizzari and Bryant rounding out your top five. Looking down at open two-wheel drive, it was McDonald and Canis taking the victory there. Light two-wheel drive is Iglesias and Castle. They're in first in lights. Do have to give a quick shout out to my good friends there, Kiana Erickson Chang and Alex Gelsomino. They got a finish as well. And I got to tell you, just to finish Snowdrift, it is definitely a major, major accomplishment. So I guess up next on the ARA calendar, going to move to 100 Acre Wood this spring, and that's always a fun one too. That's one of Ken Block's favorite events. He's won that one multiple times. But 100 Acre Wood, they're in Missouri. That is next on the ARA calendar. So that was your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And I did see that Summerfest dates are out, so if you're interested in going to that, head over to their Facebook page to get the details on that. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And speaking of Polaris RZR, I'd like to welcome Evan from Polaris RZR Marketing, I guess, to the show, man. Well, first off, thanks for the support of the show, but fun to have you back on. I know, what was it, right around Sand Sports time? I think we had you on last time to talk about the Turbo S four-seater.
Yeah, I think we talked right after Sand Show. We had just gone through like Crandon, Sand Show, a whole series of events, and now we're kind of in the exact same area where
Right.
It's like King of the Hammers, it's always busy.
Dude, yeah, I mean, we started things off racing. Well, that's what's crazy about race season in the desert. Like, there is no off season. Like, you've got Pahrump, and then literally less than a month later, it's like, boom. Parker 250, then KOH, Mint. Like, it's, I don't know, there is no off season in RZR world, right?
Yeah, there absolutely isn't. Any troubles you have coming out of the season, you immediately start the day after the last race, getting ready for next season.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like all these parts vendors and stuff, they go on shutdown mode over the holidays. So it's like you literally have to be like day after Pahrump, you have to be on it just to get things ready for the Parker 250. It's crazy. Like nobody else has that crazy off season like we do.
It kind of makes it fun, though, because it's like the worst part about sports is when, the Super Bowl is over or whatever the final end of the season is over, and you have to wait so long, man, it's like 29 days and you're right back into it.
Yeah, right? It's like Supercross fans, it's like that ends in May, and it's like, oh, yeah, we'll just twiddle our thumbs until next January rolls around. It's like with, off-road fans,
Yeah.
Nah, you don't have to wait. So
You got to love it.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of that, I know we'll talk about KOH in a minute, but one of the big things going out, we're a couple episodes deep now, but we've got this whole story with Mitch Jr. and Mitch Sr., who've both been a part of the RZR brand for quite some time now. And, Mitch Sr., legendary at KOH. Jr., I guess the Prince became a king last year. But Bloodlines, man, I think this is rad because they've had such a story. And it's like, I don't want to say finally because, Jr. finally won last year. But I think it's really rad that Polaris is telling this story of Jr. and Sr. in this whole new series called Bloodlines.
Yeah, Jim, this is one of my favorite things. It's like, early 2019, this may end up being one of my favorite things we'll actually do for the whole year. There's two big sides of it where this is a completely new style of like content, like kind of like a mini video series that we've done. Never done something like this, so we're really excited about that. And then just equally to the Guthries and the dominance that they have held within the UTV class of King of Hammers has been unreal. And, Mitchie winning for the first time last year is, it was like his first personal win. But then again, he's also been, right there with his dad for other wins. And combined, they win 70% of the time on the hardest race that, debatably the whole season. So it's just this crazy story.
Yeah, it makes me almost feel bad for a guy like Sims. And I love Brandon Sims to death. He's like my brother, but like Sims would be like a 2 or 3 time KOH champion if it wasn't for the Guthries. Like seriously. Oh.
The guy texted me. I talk to Brandon pretty frequently, obviously, and he's like each season going into King of the Hammers, he's listing out all his seconds, and he's like, "This is my year." I'm like, "Hey, we've got at any point in time like 8 to 10 guys who could just go win this race." And honestly, the King of the Hammers race, how dominant RZR as a brand has been. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm correct that we've swept every single podium for the 10 years. It's just unbelievable story. And within that amazing group of guys who could just win any time for the Guthries to have won as much as they have just makes it that much crazier.
Yeah, their dominance there, and and like it said in the in Bloodline series, Guthrie Sr., he races one time a year, and it's KOH. If he's only going to race once a year, the guy is bringing his A game.
Yeah, I mean, they grew up, Mitchie grew up in Johnson Valley, in those rock canyons with his dad, starting all the way back from, as you can see in Bloodlines, in the Land Cruiser. And it was kind of funny because, for those who don't know, if you Google RZR Bloodlines, you can watch these episodes. It follows King of the Hammers a little bit, kind of leading up to it. You can actually win a free customized razor. So go do that. You can enter to win every single day and improve your odds. But what we kind of wanted to do is just get people excited for King of the Hammers and use this father versus son, kind of king versus the new prince that was crowned the king sort of thing. And we wanted it to be like kind of UFC, like hype building. But the truth about the Guthries is that they are actually just the most humble, like, competitors on the planet. But at the same time, actually like really, really, really fighting, battling competitors too. So it's funny to see the dynamic where, like we were talking beforehand, Mitchie's working on his dad's car, they're pre-running together, but then in the race, all bets are off.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too. Like you said, they're the nicest people. And it's like, even me, like, I've called senior and I've called junior just with my race razor, and back when we had Star Car and we were first getting it going and stuff like that. And now, even now, Mitchie and I were talking about just some technical race stuff, and like they're sharing data with a competitor, which is me. You know what I mean? And it obviously we're all part of, Razor Racing and the Razor family, but like, they're nice enough people, like they're sharing their data with a competitor, you know what I mean? Just to help my program better, and it's like, who does that? The Guthries do.
Yeah. I think I've talked to a couple of the people on the team Razor, and I like how there's like this transition between helping each other out, sharing data, sharing information, or if it's something that they really feel like is a key advantage, they'll just like opt to not answer the question. Like they won't send you down the wrong path and lie to you, but they'll just say, I think you can figure that one out on your own. Like that, I'm not going to share my advantage.
And I've got that from them too. So
you've been the recipient. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been the recipient of that too. So, but no, in talking about bloodlines and the whole King of the Hammers thing, man, I'm looking, I know I will be out there doing a radio show on Monday of Hammers Week. Hopefully we'll have, I don't know, one of the Razor drivers on air who is the winner. I don't know who that'll be quite yet, but tell us about Razor's footprint at KOH, because this is a massive footprint that Polaris is going to have at the event.
Yeah, and that's great that you bring that up, actually. It'll be bigger than we've been at King of the Hammers in quite a while. For the past 3 years, I want to say, we've pretty much just set up our demo experience there, which is actually just awesome, because you can come drive it. This year we'll have Turbo S's there, drive a Turbo S at actual like trail desert speeds. So you can actually use and feel the machine totally free. So come test them out. But addition to that, this year we are in Hammertown with a huge display, and we've got a few, I can't share with you quite yet, Jim, but we've got a few other cool things going on that are just going to kind of amplify how people experience Razor there. And so we're really excited, moving into Hammers this season. Going to be a big year. Bloodlines is leading up to it. And we love Hammers, It's one of the best races of the year.
Yeah, it's fun, man. And it's one thing I've always liked about, even Glamis, in the whole Razor brand as a whole, like, and I'm lucky to be a part of it, but it's like Razor goes to where their people are, whether it be Hammers, whether it be Glamis, whether it be Crandon. It's like Polaris. It's like, you guys don't sit in the corporate office and, you know what I mean, and try and attack these people. You're there, you're amongst them, you're shaking hands, you're talking with them, you're getting the feedback, and I think that's what makes the Razor brand so special. I mean, there's not many, marketing guys such as yourself at some of these corporate jobs that are actually going to be out in the dirt with their people, you know what I mean? Being like, hey man, like, what makes you excited about Razor, and hey, what would you like to see improved on the next unit, and not many brands do that. And that's one thing that's always, I've always loved about being a part of Razor is you guys are out there with us, I
mean, that's one of my favorite things about working at Polaris and specifically Razor is exactly that. So, I think this year we just became a Fortune 500 company. I think we're like 497 or something like that.
Nice.
But for Razor specifically, all the engineers, everyone who works on the Razor brand and the other brands, but especially that extra craziness you find in Razor, the engineers are racing, riding every weekend. Like people are the customers who work on the Razor brand. And I can't think of a better time than going to Glamis for the entire Camp Razor time, or just on a random weekend, or going to Hammers for a full week plus, sucking down dust just from 60,000 people in different side-by-sides, kicking up dust everywhere that you could imagine. Like, you have a cubic foot of dust in your stomach by the time you leave. And, man, there's nothing better out there. And that's the people who are working on the brand. You know, it's not some ivory tower. I mean, we do just as stupid stuff on side-by-sides as I think some of our customers, you know, love doing as well.
And we'll be back with more with Evan Schendel from Polaris RZR Marketing when we return to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver and Evan Schendel with Polaris RZR Marketing. On the line here, and Evan, you know, we've been talking about KOH and all things RZR, but dude, I gotta say, you know, we got, we already have the Parker 250 in the books. We've got King of the Hammers coming up. Obviously, right after that, we got Mint 400, UTV Worlds. You want to talk about a stacked deck and a stacked year for the RZR brand. Man, we are just getting started, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, from, you know, like we were mentioning before, just from a racing perspective, it's insane how many races there are. Mint, huge race. You know, UTV World Champs doesn't come long after that. Reno to Vegas. I mean, all these different races that happen. Really cool story that, you know, I didn't even know during 2018 while it was happening. It was just, you know, the wins we were getting, the podiums we were getting for racing. We had 50 wins this year and 118 podiums coming out of 2018. That was a record-setting year for us, more than the prior 2 years combined. 43 wins. I mean, the RZR team went off this year. And so I'm so excited for the 2019 season and Works, Best in the Desert, Score, Lucas Oil, all the other series. Like, man, these big races, we get so excited for these.
Dude, that is crazy. I mean, I'm looking at that going 50 wins in off-road racing. Like, I mean, I'd like to see the percentage of events because, dude, that's going to be a crazy win percentage. I mean, you know, if we're talking baseball terms, we're talking Cy Young winners here.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, there are some key moments, too, where it's, you know, in Score specifically, Wayne Matlock winning the Baja 1000 actually put him in a position where for the first time in the history of ever, a UTV won the overall Score points championship. And that, you know, Rob McCackern got second in a trophy truck. And just, you know, the capability that our side-by-sides are getting to is pretty staggering when you compare back to the original 2008 800 and just kind of like where we've ended up today with Turbo S. And it's nuts, Jim.
Yeah, well, you talk about that, and I had Wayne on the show, like, right after, the Baja 1000, and, like, I don't even think he comprehended. I mean, I think it was, like, not counting the dirt bikes, like, 23rd overall. Like, he would have been third place in Class 1. He beat every other buggy class. Like, third place in Class 1, we're talking, like, $250,000 builds with, you know, billet aluminum sequential gearboxes and, like, 30 inches of wheel travel. And, like, Wayne would have got third in that class. Like, it's crazy how fast he was at Baja. Like, I mean, I think he would have finished, like, it was crazy. Like, I mean, almost top 10 in trophy truck. Like, it's nuts how fast he was there at Baja.
Yeah, the coolest thing about that is, and of course, don't want to take away from the fact that they put an insane amount of work into their team, and they have a very well equipped RZR, not 250,000 by any means, which is the coolest part. It's so easy to get into. But I think what's unbelievable is he raced every single mile of every score race last season. And I don't know how many thousands of miles that is, but just the reliability of, he just never broke down. And, the consistency, and he just carried it on the whole year. He would have been top 10 in trophy trucks. I mean, it's crazy.
That is nuts, man. Well, and I know you've got some pretty big news. I mean, obviously we've been talking Team RZR now, but I guess there's quite a few new ambassadors joining our family, man. You got some news that I don't know about here for 2019?
I know I threw a curveball on you last minute. I would just say that I don't even know what day this goes live, Jim, to be honest, but I think that there are going to be some big name changes that are become apparent pretty soon of some really cool people who are in the off-road community and, haven't really been interacting with side-by-sides yet, but kind of like we've just been talking, as they've become more and more legitimate and capable, there's a lot more people who are kind of getting interested, and I think you're going to see some big names switching over to RZR and just joining in with the RZR team as well. And I think people might be talking about it. I don't know. I think they might be.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just going, all right. Me as the Polaris RZR radio host, I'm like, man, I'm going to have a lot of interviews to do. I'm thinking, Evan.
You know what, Jim? All I want every year is to provide you with a list of big name celebrities to fill your radio show.
Oh, dude, I love talking RZRs all day, every day on this radio show. So you guys just keep bringing in the athletes and the wins, and you're gonna, I guess it's job security, right? I just get to interview all the winners, and makes my life fun, man.
Yeah, I think, we might have to renegotiate here, Jim. Maybe things might be a little easy on your side. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're making me add like second and third shows now. This year we're going to be up to 3 shows and like a video show. So, I mean, you're giving me so much content. We're just having to keep expanding and adding shows. We're going to become like a daily show at some point, and it's just going to be all RZR all the time, like, 24/7, I guess.
Man, kudos to you, Jim, because for the length of time that you've had, these at this point, multiple shows, it's been so cool to see you just at the top, most watched, I think, and, online, and the stats are crazy. We've been super excited to be with you guys, and I mean, top notch. I mean, I love tuning in, like literally just as a fan. So awesome working with you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. And it's like, I get a lot of people, and I'm going racing the trophy truck next week, or this week, I guess. And, I get a lot of people, they're like, man, you've been doing a lot of RZR stuff. They're like, when are you going to bring the trophy truck back out? And I'm bringing it back out. But I'm like, man, I have so much fun in the RZRs and racing my RZR, you know what I mean? Against guys like Mitchie and Sims and Lambert and stuff like that. I'm like, I have so much fun doing that. Like literally it's, I'm like, I can't choose which one I would rather be doing. You know what I mean? Like you've got 800 horsepower here and you've got this badass RZR over here. And I'm like, man, to me, it's a draw. Like, and that speaks to how much fun I'm having and, how honored I am to be a part of the RZR family, because literally it's like, to me, it's like a 50-50 thing. Like, man, I got the best of both worlds here.
Well, you've got quite the task a lot of these weekends when you're going from the truck straight to the RZR. Like the amount of miles you're covering per weekend at some of these races is just like, I don't know how you keep enough sweat inside your body.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's been a ton of fun, but I appreciate everything you guys have done for the show, Evan. I know you and I have talked, and I think we're going to do this a little bit more often. Maybe I don't know. Maybe before the Mint, we'll catch up again or something. We'll let you recover from hammers, give you a week or two, and then maybe before the Mint, we'll get you back on locked in here to the show.
Yeah, I think I'll do my recovering as best we can, but we might just I might just need a little caffeine, and I'll be ready whenever you need. Awesome thing about RZR is every single time of the year, something cool is about to come out. And so, our riders out there expect nothing less. The innovation, just cool marketing stuff, giveaways, whatever. We are 100% always on the throttle, and we will never stop relenting. We will always be young. We will come with our A game every single time. And so we'll just work between that. How's that sound?
That works good, and I think you've let enough there. Like I feel like there's that ... to be continued. Like I think there's a lot. This conversation you and I are going to continue throughout this year, and I think everybody tuning in that's a RZR fan, I think they're going to be stoked on some of the stuff that's coming in the pipe in 2019.
I wish I could say more, but I'm going to just agree with you for right now.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Evan. I appreciate you coming on, man, and we'll see you out at Hammers.
Absolutely. I will see you then, Jim. Thanks, buddy.
Always fun catching up with Evan from Polaris RZR. And like we said, going to be actually a couple of segments throughout the year. We're gonna have him on just to chime in and talk all things RZR and kind of bring you guys in the loop on the latest and greatest from the RZR brand. So, as we say that, he's actually en route to Hammers. I think he's actually out there today. We recorded that earlier in the week, and I'm just looking here. Actually, some breaking news as we were live. Didn't talk about it with Evan, but out of Polaris RZR, and it looks like Polaris is adding the Turbo S. So they've actually added an addition to the Turbo S. So, the Turbo S comes with the amazing Dynamics Fox shocks, all adjustable electronically, everything else. Well, they've got the Velocity edition of the Turbo S, a couple $1,000s cheaper than the traditional Turbo S, gives you the long travel, wide suspension. But the kicker is you don't have the electronics. So a lot of people, maybe want to spend a couple grand less and opt for the non-electronically controlled suspension with a Walker Evans Velocity shock. So that is now an option on both the Turbo S 2-seat and the Turbo S 4-seat. And they've got this new amazing gray color. It's like a matte gray that these units are coming in. So amazing stuff coming out of Polaris RZR with those new additions. It's funny because a lot of companies, that once a year they have a big announcement. Hey, this is what's coming. Polaris, like every couple of months, they drop something new. You never know what's going to come out of Polaris, and they drop colors mid-year, new colors, new arrays. It's like a grab bag of awesomeness. You never know what the heck's going to happen with Polaris RZR. So once again, I will be out there at Polaris RZR compound at KOH. If you're going to make your way out there, make sure and say hey to Evan and Jess and all my friends. I'll be out there Monday, but they'll be holding it down. You can do demo rides in the Turbo S, man. What other company lets you actually wheel their units before you actually buy? Well, not many, but Polaris definitely does. So get signed up to do a demo in a Turbo S for sure. But we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Tiffany Stone's going to be on the line here, and we're going to be talking more KOH when we return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome partner in crime, Tiffany Stone, to the line, who, here in, a couple of days, you're going to be out at KOH, and you're going to have nice, actually it's supposed to, I saw rain and snow at KOH, but you're there in Michigan, and I don't know, somebody was saying it's supposed to be like negative 25 tomorrow or something like that. Like, I don't know, you're probably ready to get the hell out of there, though, right?
Oh, my goodness. I am so excited. I've been talking about wanting a big snowfall. I want the big snowfall of the year, Well, it's happening right now and continuing this week, and I leave to go head out to KOH. So it's kind of like I wanted it. Now I'm not even going to get to play in it. So it's okay, though. Hopefully there'll be some snow when I come back.
Yeah, you're like, oh, snow. Look at your husband. Peace. I'm out.
I'm out. I'm about to go play in the desert with some rocks and some dirt. Have fun with the snow.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't even know why I live in a state where it literally hurts my face when I go outside, because it's windy right now, it's snowy right now, and it's just like hitting my face. And I'm like, why do I live here? Why do I live here? Why do I live here?
Because of the summers, I'm assuming, right?
Oh my goodness, the summers are amazing, and Michigan has so many great lakes. And on the West Coast, we have the Sleeping Bear sand dunes, and we have Silver Lake sand dunes. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's such a crazy state, especially when you count in the UP, which is almost like its own state up there. But like that's what I think a lot of people think Michigan and they think Detroit. Literally, I think that's what they think. And then I've been, fortunate to spend some time in the UP, then also at Traverse City. Haven't been to the dunes, but like Michigan is crazy. It's really diverse, almost like Arizona. Like we've got everything from desert, and then we've got like ski resorts, and we've got, training centers at, 7,000+ feet where Olympians train because the elevation's so high, but it's like, I think Michigan's kind of the same way. You're such a diverse state. I don't think people actually even realize that,
No, and you're actually right. I mean, we truly have the 4 seasons. Like we have winter, which is happening right now, and then we have spring, which is beautiful. Summer's great. I wish it was longer, but you're still getting that 85, 95, even 100-degree weather. And then we still have fall with the fall colors, which are beautiful, and like you were talking about in the UP. If you ever get to go to like Tequamanon Falls or Pictured Rocks, that is so beautiful. It is amazing. And then, I don't know, it's like, Southern California, it's always sunny, it's always sunny, it's always sunny. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, it rains a day and everybody freaks out. But at least here we still have all the 4 seasons. So it's beautiful. I just wish the snow happened in December when Christmas and the holidays were around.
Yeah, well, that is funny, too, because Southwest, literally, it rains, and it can be like half an inch of rain, and people are, like, freaking out. Like, oh, I can't go to school. I can't take the kids to school. Like, it's like, oh, we can't. What are we going to do? Like, we got to call in, like, we're going to be to work 2 hours late because we got an inch of rain. Like, people freak out in the Southwest when it rains, and it's funny because, like, people in the Midwest are like, haha, cute.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like, haha, cute, and then here it's like, okay, well, you're going to, I have a 300S too. It's rear-wheel drive on 20s on low-profile Toyo tires. And so it's like, those are made for the street. That's it. And they're great. But then I made the mistake of like, okay, I'm going to go wash my car, get it all set up. I'm going to put it in the garage so I don't have to worry about it. I literally could not get out of my neighborhood. I was slipping and sliding everywhere. Had to go back, pick up my Jeep because a lady was stuck in the ditch up on like the curb, and you couldn't get out. So I was able to use my winch today in the snow, which kind of makes me very happy.
Dang, check you out, good citizen Tiffany Stone.
I know. And then I was like, man, I feel like a recovery team right now. Should I go out and help some more people? And the one guy's like, nope, because he was helping her first and I had stopped. And he's like, nope, you've already done your good deed for the day. And then he came and snow plowed my driveway for me. So it was a win-win.
Yeah. Do you feel like a bit of superhero? Like when you pull somebody out, like you're like I feel like you need to have this whole superhero persona and you need to get out of the Jeep in like a cape or something like that and be like, here to rescue you.
That would be so awesome. That would be amazing. And actually, yes, because I've only used my winch, up Chewy Hill in Moab and stuff like that. And I used my winch one time to get somebody stuck out of mud. But I've never done it in the snow, and I felt like a badass, and it was just awesome. And at the end, what I think I should start doing, Jim, is giving them my T-Stone approved stickers and be like, you are approved. I'm getting better tires.
That's the rule. If you get pulled out by T-Stone, you slap it on their rear bumper. Like that's a trade-off. Like you don't have to pay me, but I am stickering your car.
I should start doing that from now on. I do have some T-Stone approved stickers in my Jeep, so I should start doing that. That's what's going to happen from now on.
I don't even have T-Stone approved stickers, and I've spent some time in that Jeep. You're slacking here, T-Stone.
That is true. I know. I'll bring them out to KOH, and I'll put this out there for anybody at KOH. I'll bring all my T-Stone approved stickers. I got red ones and black ones, so if you see me at all on the lake bed, stop me, honk at me, wave me down. I'll give you some T-Stone approved stickers. And I think I might be bringing some prizes out that way too. I'm going to keep it hush hush, but I'm going to bring some prizes to our live show recording on Tuesday.
Oh,
or Monday.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. You know what? I had to do some research too. So the whole Mitch Guthrie My Package thing, My Package changed the company name. And so they're not My Package anymore. They're like, hold on, let me look it up. Actually, I'm on my phone as we're recording this and or as we're talking, and we're looking this up. My Package underwear, because they changed names. And I'm like, because I was looking, I'm like, what the hell here? Oh, it's Beneath. BN3TH. They go by Beneath now instead of My Package. So My Package is now Beneath. So I don't know. I don't know why we're even bringing that up again, but Beneath underwear.
No. But like, what are you beneath? Like what? Like, because are they trying to say that their package is beneath their undies, or are you beneath me when I wear these? Like, what is beneath?
We seriously, I am reaching out to the company, and I'm like, we need your marketing director on the show. Tiffany Stone and I, we need to do this interview. We've got questions, and they better have some answers, right?
Well, yeah, because I'm looking at them, and honestly, they just remind me of Saks underwear, the SAXX.
Yeah.
That's literally what they wear. My goodness, Jim. I'm on their website right now looking at it.
I was going to say, do they have your picture on there?
Well, when they're looking, it says select your fit. And I don't know if I can say this. You might have to beep it out later, and people are going to be really intrigued. But why does everybody look like they have a camel toe on here? I'm not joking.
I see. I'm just looking through. They got all these colors. I haven't found that section. Select your fit. Shop all, our story, loyalty program.
No, just go on the main page and go all the way down. I'm not kidding you. It says select your fit, and it literally looks like the front one looks like a camel toe. I'm just putting out there. You might
It does. It says it's got 3.5 inch, and we're not talking. This is inseam length, people. 3.5 inch,
yes.
6.5, and then 29 inch. But yeah, like literally. There's no need for that. Like, so it makes me wonder: are these women's underwear, guys' underwear? We know they're guys. I know girls like to wear the guys' underwear once in a while, the boxer briefs. But yes, full on camel toe in every single one of these. Crazy.
Exactly. So do they separate your friends apart? Like, so the lefty's on the left side and the righty's on the right side, and is that like considered? Is it like when a guy has a camel toe called a moose knuckle now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, we're going way too deep in this now. Beneath.
This is a question for Mitch Guthrie because he's the only one we know that actually has a pair of these. Mitch, how do these things fit? We're continuing this at KOH. Poor Guthrie is never going to want to do radio with us ever again.
I know, and then he always like says, "Why are you guys still talking about my package?" And it's not even that; it's just the story of it. It's the story of the name.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So speaking of KOH, you said you're gonna have some goodies out there. We will be Monday, and because KOH. Let's just be honest with you. There's no service out there. We will be recording the show, and hopefully we'll drop it Tuesday of next week. We're recording it Monday, but you and I, 1 o'clock. So if you're listening to this, you're going to be at KOH next Monday. T-Stone and I will be doing a broadcast or recording from Polaris at 1 o'clock next week. You're going to have some goodies, it sounds like. I think you and I have never ceased to not have fun when we're doing a live show somewhere.
I know. I'm super excited about it. I'll be in the desert. Hopefully the sun's shining. Hopefully there's not too much dust yet. But I'm excited because the thing that happens, Jim, I think like when we're next to each other sitting doing a live event, we see each other's like facial reaction to really what's going on. And then that makes me laugh even more because if you want to know what I'm thinking, just literally look at my face either when something is said or a question because my face will tell all. I'll tell you if I like the question, if I think the question's weird, if I think you're weird, and I'm just like, okay, and I think that's what lasts. And then we need Keegan Kincaid one day, and then we can keep going.
Oh, man, we've got to do a follow-up to that one because that was probably one of the funniest 20-minute segments I've ever done in radio. I don't think the three of us ever stopped laughing. Yeah, too bad I don't think Keegan's going to be out at KOH. I haven't talked with the boy, but I don't know. I know Vision Wheel's going to be out there, but I don't think Keegan's going to make his way out to KOH. Am I wrong? Have you heard anything?
I have not heard anything from Keegan. All I have been seeing are the cutest little twin boy baby pics that him and Catherine Kincaid have been posting. So I think he's up on daddy duty right now. But I wonder how Keegan would do at King of the Hammers. He's very knowledgeable, and he just has that drive. And I'm sure that Jeff Kincaid has a bunch of notes in his back pocket from just watching over the years or hearing or talking about anything.
Hey, let's put it this way. The Greaves made a really strong debut. They led at one point last year. Obviously, they ended up having some troubles, but short course racers from the Midwest making the transition. I'm telling you, the Greaves, they were a solid showing to the point where like they're on the radar this year. Where I think they're in Power Hour qualifying. Maybe I could be wrong, but I think just because of their showing last year, they're in Power Hour now qualifying. In year number 2. So just saying, man, Midwest short course racers, they've done well at KOH.
I think, yeah, and especially because, we both know you're setting up either for the desert or the rocks. Like, one's going to have a little bit more power than the other. But I just think that with Johnny and CJ having so much seat time in trucks and having so much seat time in side-by-sides and seeing that the power to weight ratio is very similar in some of them, depending on which one you're driving, of course. But, I think that they have that knowledge. And I know CJ's not afraid of anything, but he's super methodical. So not being afraid of anything and putting in so much time and being, very prepared, I think they're going to do a really, really good job out there.
Yeah, I think year number 2, they're definitely ones to watch. I know, we talked about it last week. There's a lot of ones to watch out there at KOH. Especially in the UTVs. I think one of the wild cards that we haven't even talked about that is racing in the UTV division, Bryce Menzies. Bryce making his KOH debut in a Polaris RZR out there. He's one I'm interested to see how he takes to the rocks. I don't know if he's been out there sneaking out there doing much pre-running or not, but Bryce in a UTV, it's going to be a proper race car. It's going to be an interesting one to watch in the rocks. What do you think we're going to see out of Menzies?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's, he's going to have the best of the best. He's going to be dialed in. He's already been testing. And even if he's not posting anything, that doesn't mean he's not testing. But I know, not from doing any of the obstacles out at KOH, but if you don't pick the right line, you may or may not even be able to make it to the next step. And I think Bryce overall is a great driver. I know he's had his ups and downs in certain things, and most of his seat time's been in a truck. But I think that Bryce will have it. This is me. I'm not a driver. I've never raced a race. Only obviously watched him and talked to drivers plenty of times. But I think that if you have that driver mentality, it just comes naturally. Like, you know what you're supposed to do. You know what you're supposed to be doing and what the outcome is going to, happen. It's just the practice. And I think Bryce is going to do very, very well out there.
Yeah, and I think he's going to impress year 1. I think year 2 is really when Bryce is going to hit his stride. So I'm already excited to see him back in 2020 just because I think he's going to learn a lot this year. Not to say he's not going to be successful, but I just think year number 2 is really going to be dominant. But definitely one to watch. So what else is on tap for you? Obviously, you and I, we are doing a radio/podcast recording Monday, 1 o'clock at KOH. But I know you're going to be pretty busy most of the week. What else you got planned out there, T-Stone?
So I will be doing some things with Amsoil and Hammer King Productions itself. We're going to be doing some cool things coming up, so stay tuned on that. I really wish we could talk about what they're doing, but we can't, so it's a big surprise.
Man, you're going to have one hell of a fun week and a half out there at KOH. I can't wait to join you, T-Stone, but we are up against a time break. Have some fun, and I guess we will see you Monday out at King of the Hammers.
Awesome. Stay tuned.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this
into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right. And we are back here winding things down on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Thank you guys for tuning in to another show. Just done there with Tiffany Stone. Big thanks to her for coming on board this year. Evan Schendel with Polaris RZR, and Kyle Chisholm also. So big news coming up next week. Obviously, I've got the big episode of the Down and Dirty Radio Show out there at KOH next Monday. We'll be recording that. But even better, I will have at some point on one of the shows next week, don't know which one quite yet, I'm going to have Nate Wessel on with me as well. So, Nate Wessel, obviously, he's going to be on Project Action this week. Sorry, getting sidetracked here. But Jason Anderson, you know him, Mr. Supercross, Jason Anderson, El Hombre, he'll be on one of the shows as well. So Jason Anderson, Nate Wessel, also got the big show at KOH. Lots of content coming at you guys. Make sure if you want to get it all, head over there to iTunes, subscribe to both Project Action and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and please leave a 5-star rating or 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, 4-star. I don't care. Just give us an honest rating there. But come say hey on Monday out at KOH. I'll be out there also racing the 425 this weekend. Be sure stay in tune for a ton of content. Got a video dropping day in regards to that, press release and that. Man, KOH Parker 425. It is going to be a stacked week for me. Thank you guys for all the support. Thanks to Polaris RZR for the support, General Tire, Subaru, Vision Wheel, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, MotoShield Pro, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Give me a follow at JimBeaver15 to follow my shenanigans, and make sure and use that coupon code JBDirtfish for 15% off Dirtfish Rally School. We'll see you guys next week. Be safe. As always, game on.